Genesis chapter 11 verse 43. I'm going to re-record the last verses from verse 43 to verse 53 here in Bangkok, due to the fact that the recordings we did up there near in the Kalor area at He Ho was not very good. They were later on there at the dam. I will edit some of this in. You see, the kids were jumping and screaming, and the wind was starting to blow a lot, so it's impossible to listen. I mean, I re-listened, I re-edited, I edited it, tried my best to get the wind and everything kind of out. It's impossible, so I'm redoing this. Okay, so it just you understand why this is now in a different place. In the other videos, we ought to be going back to the original video material, which we recorded there in the mountains of the Shan State in Myanmar. Because now we are in Thailand, Bangkok.
Verse 43. Then Laban answered and said to Jacob, the daughters are my daughters, the children are my children, the flocks are my flocks. Now, all that. In other words, what is the right thing? What is my next step? So we see here that.
Verse 43. Then Laban answered and said to Jacob, the daughters are my daughters, the children are my children, the flock are my flocks, and all that you see is mine. But what can I do this day for these, my daughters, or for the children whom they have borne? Okay, so the story, if you remember, goes with Jacob fleeing, first getting his wives and children to go to inform them that it's time to move. Then when Laban is out, they flee. In the conclusion part, I will come back to this in a little bit more detail. And so now Laban chased after them. He chased them down, and so he is stating this fact now. And what he's saying here is very true. According to the laws that Moses are going to God going to give to Moses and will be written down, will become law for the Jews. The idea of or behind slavery is the law is going to be like this: that if you are sold into slavery because bad debts, etc., and if while as a slave working for your master you get married and have children, then after your time of slavery is done, you paid back everything, then you can go, but your wife and your children, they stay the property of your master. So for that case, then most husbands would like stay and just keep on working. Okay. So yeah, we will, when we get to the whole slavery thing, we will see that this is actually not a bad thing. It sounds very bad, but it's actually not such a bad thing. Okay, in a way, it's protection for the wife and the children, in a way. But we'll get back to that. So this is then, and now this is still earlier, Laban. So you can say, was it already a law? We don't know if it was already a law for the people, but we do know it became a law later on. And we do know that Moses wrote this down when he was giving these kinds of laws. So when Laban is speaking here in such a way, and the people there a couple of hundred years later hearing this law on what Laban is saying, they will say, yes, it agrees with our law. Our law that's stating, yes, Laban is correct here. Jacob worked for Laban. Laban gave him his the wives, and so when he leaves, he actually is supposed to. He can't just leave and take them with. They actually still belong to the master. Okay, so this is what they would understand, right? And this is then what Laban is implying here. So in this sense, yes, Laban is correct. These things belong to him. Actually, although they had this contract, if you put it like that, to you after this and you get this kind of idea, but we know Laban always tried to get out of that. But still, then stuff, yes, the stuff, but the woman and the children, they're still basically, I mean, it's his grandchildren. The master gave the wives, so they belong to him, actually. Okay? And yes, but now it's already, after seeing this dream, he's sort of okay with letting them go, right? And asking here then, so what can I now do? What's going to be the right thing? So he understands already that yes, God appeared to him in a dream. Jacob will go. He can't really hold it back, although he has the right to that. But what is now the best thing here? The best thing to do, okay, in this case. And this is now where they're going to come up with this idea of they're going to make a covenant. Okay, so at least again in this sense, Laban is correct, and right. So I lost, you won, and so as not to keep animosity amongst each other, right? And animosity in this part of the world can last forever. Let's not only that part of the world, lots of places in the world it kind of lasts forever. So let's try and see what is in the best solution now out of in this case. So verse 44, come now, let us make a covenant, you and I, and let it be a witness between you and me. So he is then saying, right, so what is the best way going around this? And the answer already comes up with himself, because this is what he's going at, or trying to reach here, achieve, is, okay, let's make a covenant between the two of us. Okay, now kind of more equals, although Laban would have been still stronger physically, with not the Laban per se as a man Laban, but his surrounding, the people behind him would still be stronger than Jacob and four women and a bunch of teenagers. Okay, some less even than teenagers. Okay, let's make a covenant. It's not only God making covenants, people make covenants with each other as well. And the same reason you're not supposed to break a covenant. Okay, we will as well come back to that later on, when Saul's family making covenant and going to break it, and then how the people are supposed to pay for it. Okay. So this covenant will be a witness between them. Verse 45. So Jacob took a stone and set it up as a pillar. Right? So in that sense, Jacob agrees. So right here is a stone. We put it down, and this is now the sign. Right? This is not a sign on a contract that we're signing. This is a pillar. This is a way how we show. This pillar is now the sign that we are making this covenant. Verse 46. And Jacob said to his kinsmen, gather stones. And they took stones and made a heap, and they ate there by the heap. So not only the pillar, then they gathered the stones to build most likely some kind of an altar, right? And then they ate there. And we know as well by now, the eating together, that is a sign now of the animosity is gone. We eat together. We trust each other. We're going to take this further. We're not going to hurt each other anymore. Okay, so in certain cultures, even today in the world, when they sign contracts, it's the eating together is a very important part. Like in a Russian culture, you'll go to a banya together kind of idea, or first get drunk and then go to a banya idea. In the Korean culture, whenever they get angry at each other, or a person wants to say sorry for something, they take you to a restaurant. Or at least that's according to the Koreans I know. They told me that eating is a very important thing for them, always in making peace, in saying sorry. Okay, so this is maybe a little bit like here, right? And I mentioned before in other videos, all asterisks and obliques always in the end of the books. These guys get together and they eat together. And so there's peace again. So right, this is just this. There's not going to be this animosity. Not only the pillar, but this agreement, eating together part as well shows that.